Oftentimes, when an argument or a particular issue is being discussed, what appears on the surface isn't really what it seems. For example, let's say you get into an argument with your wife or your girlfriend. She's bitching at you about leaving your toothpaste in the sink, not taking the garbage out, not emptying the dishwasher. You forgot to cut the grass. The argument's not really about the toothpaste or the garbage. Some people like to call the garbage the WNBA. In most cases, there's an underlying issue, and the toothpaste is just the symptom to the larger problem. Those are the problems that she uses to mask what's really bothering her, that she either doesn't want you to know or she's not comfortable enough to tell you. It's no different with the issue of transgender participation in sports. Leaders of Woke United Methodist, they want you to think it's really about trans rights. They want you to think they're fighting for the minority. That is just the symptom. They use these arguments to mask the true agenda, which is normalizing immoral behavior, making unacceptable behavior acceptable. We have talked extensively on the channel about the shitfucks poisoning the minds of children with this non-binary transgender bullshit. If they can raise an entire generation to be confused about their gender, confused about their sexuality, then they have an entire generation dependent on them for guidance. Gender is the foundation of who we are. It's the simplest concept to grasp. Unlike Ketanji Brown Jackson, you don't need a fucking biologist to figure it out. You look down. If you see something poking out, you're a dude. If you see an opening down there, you're a woman. In order for social justice to take over, to be implemented, they first have to have chaos and anarchy mass confusion. What better way to achieve this goal than raising an entire generation to be confused about their gender? Raising an entire generation afraid to use what they call improper pronouns. Thou shalt not misgender. Go sit in time out until you know the difference between a woke boy and girl. The inclusion of trans people in sports has absolutely nothing to do with transgender rights. We've seen this at the professional level. We've seen dudes identifying as women fighting actual women in MMA. We've seen this at the college level, Leah Thomas. It was only a matter of time before this nasty fungus spread to the children. That is exactly what's happened this weekend. And strangely enough, no one in the mainstream media is talking about it. Just like no one in the mainstream media was talking about Leah Thomas back in December. Earlier this week, we talked about FINA banning Leah Thomas from competing in the Olympics. Now, this ban was met with a lot of support worldwide, as we saw other leagues follow suit. I think it was about 24 hours later, there was a professional rugby league in Australia. They implemented a ban on Tran Dan competing against women in rugby. Apparently, though, Red Bull didn't get the memo. I have finally figured out the business strategy for Red Bull. They've come up with a brilliant business plan. Instead of marketing their bullshit to 99.3% of the country, they're targeting the 0.7% that can't figure out how to properly use their dick. Last month, we talked about professional skateboarder Taylor Silverman. She was pissed off, and rightfully so, because she lost a competition to a dude. KC, she did not lose to a dude. She lost to someone named Lillian Gallagher. Yeah. Just because someone calls themselves Lillian doesn't make them a woman. If I call myself Spider-Man, does it mean I can shoot spider webs out the palms of my hands and wrap these useless shitfucks in a cocoon? I wish I could, but I can't. Just because you wish you were a woman doesn't change the fact that you were born with meat in your pants. Taylor Silverman sent a polite email to Red Bull imploring them to ban the Tran from future competitions and awarding her the money that she rightfully would have won. Red Bull ignored her. Fuck you, peasant. Don't be a sore loser. Your rights are not as important as the rights of bearded Beulah. Quit your complaining. Red Bull is an inclusive company. Now, Taylor Silverman is an adult, a young adult. It is bad enough when this bullshit's happening to young adults and college students. But like I said, The fungus is now spreading to youth competitions. Imagine for 1 second that you have a 13-year-old daughter. She has a passion for skateboarding. Every day after school, on the skateboard. She practices, she works hard, she continues getting better and better. As a good mother, a good father, you do everything you can to support her dream. You buy her the best equipment. You buy her lessons with an expert trainer. You are doing everything that you can to motivate her to pursue her dream. She starts actively competing in competitions. She becomes the 133rd best skateboarder in the country at 13 years old. I mean, that's an accomplishment. This weekend, she arrives at the biggest competition of her young life. First place winner is awarded $500, which to a 13-year-old kid, that might as well be $5 million. Your young daughter is ecstatic. She cannot wait to compete. Walks into the locker room. Notices a little bit of a problem here. This skateboarding competition, which is supposed to feature all females, has a fucking dude in the locker room. Not only has a dude infected the all-female locker room, he's 29 years old. That is exactly what happened this weekend to young Shiloh Catori. Red Bull hosted their latest skateboarding competition this weekend, which has become nothing but a blatant promotion of the gay. Ricci Tres placed first in the competition. Now, don't let the name Ricky fool you. We have one smart transgender here. They decided to go with a first name that could belong to a male or a female. Perhaps this speaks to their confusion. I'll go with the name Ricky. That's how I identify myself. Sometimes I wake up and want to pee standing up. Other days I prefer to relax sitting down. Ricky's a prime example of some pussy-ass dude who couldn't cut it competing against men. While young Shiloh ranks 133rd amongst girls, Ricky falls all the way down to 838th against dudes. But by some miracle, he was able to win this competition against little girls. It's the biggest upset in sports history. This is bigger than Appalachian State beating Michigan. It's bigger than the Patriots beating the Rams in the Super Bowl as double-digit underdogs. This is bigger than 8-seeded Warriors beating the top-seeded Mavs in the first round of the NBA playoffs back in 2006. This is the biggest upset in sports history. Except for the fact it's complete bullshit. I mean, what kind of self-respecting person? I'm not even going to call Ricky a man. Even though he was born a man, this is not what a man is. What kind of self-respecting person would do something like this to a 13-year-old child? Take a look at this for a second. Look at the people this fucking man Ricky was competing against. There is only one other person on the board who can walk into the gas station and buy booze. Most of these competitors don't even have a fucking driver's license. But Ricky Lake here, he only shoulders some of the blame. At 29 years old, you should know better. But these shit fucks, they only care about themselves. The bulk of the blame falls on Red Bull. What Red Bull is doing is 100% wrong. I'm so tired of these billion-dollar powerful corporations bowing the knee to this twisted movement, especially when it comes to children. Every executive at Red Bull should be fired. This is the second time this has happened. I'm not usually an advocate for boycotts, and it's easy for me to not buy Red Bull products because I never have, but it is time for people to start speaking with their wallets, just like people have done with Disney. If you're going to allow grown men to compete against teenage girls, I'm not buying your shit. Now, I also blame the mainstream media here because they continue to ignore situations like this. The media, they ignored Leah Thomas for 3 or 4 months. They were forced to start covering him in March during the NCAA championships, and most of the mainstream media, they were supporting him. Look at Leah. Doesn't he look beautiful in that thong bikini? He's making history. Leah's the first man to win the championship in women's swimming. This is historical. What a legacy. Grab the cucumber. Grab the lotion. Call up Rex Chapman. It's time for a woke hug celebration. I was alerted to this particular story by Libs of TikTok, and when I was researching it, I found an article on Outkick. Other than that, Not one mainstream media outlet has picked up this story. Just imagine if Ricci was a 29-year-old straight white male and defeated a 13-year-old trans girl. Just imagine that for a second. You think the mainstream media would ignore the story then? They ignore Ricci, they ignore Leah Thomas because it doesn't fit their narrative. They also ignore it because they know the backlash would be severe. There was some progress made, at least on a global level, with FINA banning Leah and her extra limb from competing in the Olympics. But here in America, the vast majority of these powerful corporations, they are overrun with the woke fungus. These people, they are quick to bow the knee to the oak tree. They are quick to accommodate one person at the expense of 99 others. The only way things are going to change is if people start to speak with their wallets. But let me know what you think. Red Bull allowing a 29-year-old man to compete against teenage girls. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.